For decades, we've been promised one thing. The future would have jetpacks. Movies, comics, even NASA hinted that one day we'd soar above the ground like superheroes, free, fast, unstoppable. And for a brief moment in history, that dream almost came true. In the early 1960s, a small American company built a working jetpack that could actually fly. Not in a movie, but in real life. The US Army tested it. The press loved it. The world was ready for personal flight. So why did it vanish? Why aren't our skies filled with people flying to work today? This is the incredible story of the jetpack that almost worked, and why it disappeared just as fast as it took off. The human dream of personal flight is as old as imagination itself. From Da Vinci sketches to science fiction pulp magazines, people dreamed of strapping engines to their backs and taking to the sky. By the 1950s, that dream didn't seem so crazy anymore. World War II had unleashed massive advances in rocketry and propulsion. Engineers could now build compact turbines and lightweight fuel systems, the stuff of jet-age dreams. The future looked like something out of the Jetsons: flying cars, robotic helpers, and of course, jetpacks. And that's where a little-known engineer named Wendell Moore entered the picture. Wendell Moore was an engineer at Bell Aerosystems, a company already pioneering rocket-assisted takeoff technology for aircraft. But Moore had a vision: to take that rocket power and scale it down to something a single person could wear. He believed a compact rocket belt could help soldiers cross rivers, jump walls, and move over difficult terrain, giving the military a massive advantage. So in 1958, he began building a prototype in secret, using tiny rocket nozzles, lightweight metal frames, and tanks of hydrogen peroxide fuel. When the first prototype was ready, it looked like something from science fiction. A silvery backpack with twin thrusters and hand controls. They called it the Bell rocket belt. And when it finally lifted off, for a few glorious seconds, the dream of human flight became real. On April 20th, 1961, test pilot Harold "Hal" Graham stepped into the harness, fired up the rocket, and lifted off the ground, becoming the first man in history to fly a true jetpack. He hovered for about 13 seconds, rising nearly 10 meters into the air before gently landing. The world was stunned. Newsreels, magazines, and military generals rushed to see it. The Bell rocket belt was shown off at fairs, events, even the White House lawn. People believed this was it, the dawn of the jet age for everyone. But behind the applause, a harsh reality was about to hit. The Bell rocket belt did fly, but only for 21 seconds. That was the absolute maximum flight time before it ran out of fuel. The problem was simple physics. The rocket used hydrogen peroxide, which decomposes rapidly into steam and oxygen when exposed to silver catalysts, creating thrust, but at a massive cost in efficiency. To fly longer, you'd need more fuel. But more fuel meant more weight, and more weight meant it wouldn't lift off. It was a self-defeating loop. And there was another problem: control. Flying a rocket belt was like balancing on a fire hose. There were no wings, no stabilizers, just brute force thrust. Even with weeks of training, only a few pilots could manage it safely. So while it looked effortless on film, in reality, it was dangerous, exhausting, and terrifying. The US Army quickly realized it wasn't a weapon, it was a stunt. Despite the setbacks, the Bell team kept improving the design. They built new versions, hoping to extend flight time or improve control. But the more they tried, the more they hit the same wall: fuel limits. By 1965, the military had moved on to helicopters and hovercrafts, vehicles that could actually carry people and equipment safely. Still, the rocket belt became a pop culture legend. It appeared in movies like Thunderball, and later in the opening ceremony of the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles, where it stunned millions watching on TV. For a few shining seconds, humanity really did fly. But behind the scenes, the project was falling apart. Bell Aerosystems dropped funding. Wendell Moore, the visionary behind it all, died in 1969. And and without him, the dream fizzled out. The jetpack, it seemed, had burned bright and burned out. Today, more than half a century later, the dream isn't entirely dead. Modern inventors have revived the idea using turbine jet engines and lightweight composites. Companies like Jetpack Aviation and Gravity Industries have built functional jet suits that can fly for several minutes, with speeds over 100 km/h. Even the US Navy and NASA are experimenting again with personal flight devices. But the same problem remains: fuel, safety, and practicality. Jetpacks are loud, dangerous, and expensive, and most people simply don't need to fly to the grocery store. So while we can build them today, we probably shouldn't. Still, the Bell rocket belt remains a symbol of a time when we truly believed that technology could make us fly. A 21-second glimpse into a future that never was. And maybe that's the real reason the jetpack still fascinates us. Because it represents something deeper. The endless human desire to reach higher, even when gravity and reality keep pulling us down. The jetpack didn't fail because of imagination. It failed because of physics. But for one shining moment, it proved that impossible dreams can lift off, even if they don't stay in the air for long. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this look into a future that almost was, consider liking this video and subscribing for more stories about science and history. See you next time.